why was Lula even allowed to run? Now, the reason I ask that question is because Lula was at one point imprisoned in Brazil. He was convicted of crimes. He essentially sold out his country, and he was thrown in prison for it. Now, he's not in prison now. You'll notice he is not in prison now because he was released from prison by a corrupt judiciary. He was released from prison by judges who were his own judicial appointments, who were, if not on the physical payroll, on the ideological payroll of Lula. Lula, as I mentioned, is a communist who wants communism and Marxism for Brazil, and he appointed his buddies, his cronies, to the judiciary. They let him out. Now, not only did they let him out of prison, which he should not have been allowed out of prison, he had a 12-year sentence, he did not serve that. When he was allowed out of prison, he still shouldn't have been allowed to run for president because in Brazil, it's against the law. If you have a felony on your criminal record, you are not allowed to run for office. So in order to be allowed to run for office, he would have had to have his criminal record expunged. Well, his judicial appointees expunged his record. Even though, again, this is against the law in Brazil to do. This is a wildly unconstitutional and illegal thing that Lula was allowed out of prison. And the reason that his conviction was overturned is they claimed that it was a jurisdictional technicality. What does that mean? A jurisdictional technicality. They claimed nothing about the crime that he committed because it was so obvious that he was guilty of this crime. You know, he faced 12 charges. He was found guilty on all of those charges. He was sentenced to 12 years. 19 judges unanimously found him guilty. So when they let him out, when this judge let him out and expunged his record, they didn't pretend that he didn't commit the crime because it was obvious that he did. They didn't pretend that it was an unfair verdict because it was a just verdict. No, they said, well, he was tried in the wrong court. This technicality just, wouldn't you know it, let him out. He got out of prison after 580 days served of what should have been a 12-year sentence. No appeal, nothing, just wiped it away.